He's a no-nonsense front rower. He means business and he's a big lad, so no one really gets in his way.
He's away! Just motors straight through, get out of him away.
I've seen Tyler all through his journey, really, from watching him at Siddall.
Do you remember going straight into under-9s?
Yeah, I was too big for the under-7s, wasn't I?
Yeah. You'd get the ball and keep running, and everyone would have to tell you to put ball down.
Yeah.
Stop! Put the ball down! Because you just kept going.
So the 1970s for my mum, that's when she was born, so and it's one of the most important dates in my life because that's when the most important woman in my life was born. I wouldn't say I was a rogue, I was more a bit of a numpty one, I had a lovable numpty. I was intelligent, but I wasn't really. I had no common sense, did I?
No, I'm glad you thought you were intelligent.
I was good in school.
Which school?
He does a lot for people behind closed doors as well, that, you know, just out of the generosity of his heart.
During my time at Widnes, I was working in a children's home as well. And I felt like it was something that I could do to sort of help change people's perspective on life, I suppose. Because some of the kids there had like similar backgrounds to myself. We're estate dogs.
No, we're not. You grew up on an estate, but yeah, there were always somebody having something to say to him because he was quite a big lad. It was usually about me. They'd just say something, wouldn't they, about me because of my colour and stuff, wouldn't they? So then he'd start, but then had to go to a prevention team to stop him from becoming an offender. And he didn't have to stay the full time because he just turned himself around, didn't you?
Yeah. I just wanted to be in an environment where I could sort of make change and sort of show kids that this isn't the be all and end all and there's routes to go down and you could change your ways, really. So I was born in Halifax, 2000, millennium baby. I was sort of raised in Ovin and Illingworth, but we moved to Siddall and I'd sort of say that's where I spent most of my childhood. So they've been me, my mum and my sister, and we're a very close, tight-knit bunch and we care a lot for each other and I care a lot for my mum and my sister and I do a lot for them in terms of I take on the role as the protector of the family. I've got like a bit of a family crest on the back of my Achilles, which is the fleur-de-lis, because my grandpa was born in New Orleans and that's their like crest. So me, my mum and my sister have all got it. I've got Malcolm X who sort of stood up for black rights and he's got a quote that says, "A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything." And that's something I sort of take into everyday life. Like I don't do anything without a reason and I always believe in stuff and believe in stuff's happening for a reason. So I started like a bit of a black excellence theme because I'm a proud Englishman, but I'm proud of my family's heritage and I'm proud of my family's like Afro-American roots.
My dad came from New Orleans. His father was born on a plantation. His mother was born on another plantation. So my granddad's name was Thomas, his last name was Thomas, and my grandma's last name was Washington. So obviously the sponsor that took on my dad, his name was Dupree. He was born in 1908 and obviously it was still quite rife with the racism, and his parents ended up owning like a grocery shop and that got burnt down by the Ku Klux Klan. So he was orphaned then and he had nowhere to go, so he was just basically on the streets. But he'd already been learning to play piano prior to that anyway, so while other kids were playing marbles and things like that, my dad was learning to play piano. He started hanging around clubs and stuff. He was still playing music, but in between that he was doing like the fighting, prize fighting. And he ended up being the sparring partner for Jack Dempsey. He started fighting, he had about 106, 107 fights. That's how he got his name. Champion Jack. From there, he went into the Navy because the World War II broke out. Then that ship got torpedoed. He ended up then as a prisoner of war in Japan for 2 years. Then he came back to America, but he was too old to be fighting, and so he started going to clubs and stuff to play piano. Then he got spotted by a couple of agents. He made lots of records and he was one of the shows at the Cotton Club, and he worked for Al Capone's, one of Al Capone's brothers. So they were kind of like moving in them circles, like with Frank Sinatra, Judy Garland, all of that. And then there was a cry out in Europe for the blues music. So there were like B.B. King, John Lee Hooker, my dad. And they came over in 1958, 59. And he just never went back because he found that the racism in America was 1,000 times worse than it was over here. And then he met my mum. My mum was from Ovingdon. My mum wanted to come back to Ovingdon, so they came and settled over here. But he said this was his home, you know, even though he's from America and that, and he's been all over the world. He said that Halifax was the ones that treated him more with respect.
What was Tyler like when he was a child?
Do I have to comment? No. Some young kids came in that were knocking about with on the estate, and they come running to my door and they're banging on my door and they're going, "Oh, Tyler's fallen, Tyler's fallen." And I'm like, "Well, what's happened?" And he's fallen off a roof. Anyway, so they're bringing him on and he's limping and looking all sorry for himself and everything, and his face out here, and I'm like, "What's gone on?" And he went, "My shoe were up on roof." And I said, "Well, what?" So I said to your friends, didn't I? I said, "Who's thrown his shoe up on roof?" And Tyler went, "I did." He was a good kid, but he was he could be naughty, but he was a good kid, and he was very, very loving. At the beginning, it was just me and his sister, so he was just brought up with like two girls. So, you know, we made sure that he was respectful and caring, and he had to respect adults, and he was a good, caring kid. Still is.
I've always tried to sort of be two different people wherever I'm playing and when I'm off the pitch. When you're playing, you just try to win. That's just how it is, that's rugby. But when I'm off it, I care about people. I probably care too much about people sometimes, but no, I always like to put people in front of myself and put people's thoughts and feelings first. And I think that sort of like come from like my family as well. I was raised by my mum, and she sort of helped me with my caring, because my mum cared for everyone. Like when we lived on the estate, she cared for everyone on the estate. Everyone would come to our house. Some people would come for tea, you know, everyone would come in if it were raining. Like we was always the go-to house.
Tyler's dad and myself, well, I was in a domestic violence relationship for just over 5 years. Obviously, I didn't know how to get out of it. And at some points, I didn't feel I had to get out of it because I thought that was life. I thought that was going to be my life. I had friends telling me that I shouldn't be in that situation. I had my mum telling me I shouldn't be in that situation. My sister was, you know, always there for me, trying to sort me out. But I'd got it stuck in my head that this was my life, this is what I had to do. Then Tyler was born, and I thought things were going to change. Nothing changed. You know, my daughter and Tyler were witnessing all kinds of violence, whether it were verbal or physical. And one day Tyler went to nursery, told nursery that he'd seen his dad being violent towards his mum. And so obviously then health visitors, social services got involved. And I say to this day that Tyler saved my life, because then professionals got involved and made me realise that I didn't have to keep putting up with this. I needed better for myself and my children. So they supported me in getting away from him. They always say that you lose your memory from being 4-year-old. Anything before that you can't remember, but Tyler, he seems to remember everything, and I suppose it's because it was traumatic situations. So, but when he was little, he used to know when his dad was going to start being violent towards me. So he used to come and sit on my knee and pretend to fall asleep, hoping then that he wouldn't come anywhere near me. When he eventually got away from the situation, he came and found us another time, broke in, put his hand through my window and chased us out of the house. I had to run out with Tyler. I passed Tyler to one of my neighbours and I just ran into another neighbour's house. He followed me into there, tried to kill me, tried to strangle me, but he ended up worse off because he'd cut a main artery by putting his hand through a window. The last time Tyler ever saw him was the police had taken him into the back of the ambulance to see his dad, because that was his dad's wish, because they thought he was dying. And so my son had to witness some guy lying there covered in blood. And that was it. Never again. never seen him again. From that day, that's when I started to realise that I needed my kids to be in a different situation and they needed to grow up realising different things, that wasn't the way forward. So I think the way that I brought Tyler and Ebony up then helped them to be a bit more respectful and caring and understand people more.
To his right-hand side, he has Dupree, and that will win it.
I don't think I ever saw it as a career path, did I?
No.
I just enjoyed playing the game.
It was always meant, it was just going to be a hobby because your intentions were you wanted to be a teacher. While he was in primary school, he was the class clown, teachers were tortured by him, but they loved you though, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then as soon as he left there, they were like, oh no, that's what I want to do. I want to sort of try and help kids like myself, so...
Yeah, I feel like they give me a chance, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like they didn't... I don't know, it's a bit of a cliche to say where you've got like teachers who like always give you a chance.
No, but
But it actually did, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing now, like, that's why I'm doing my degree now, innit? So I'm finishing my degree to then move on after rugby to do teaching, to do primary school teaching.
One of our friends came forward when he was about 14, 15 and said that they'd spoke to Salford Academy, scholarship, to see if he wanted to go there. And they did good for you though, you enjoyed it there, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. But then unfortunately the academy didn't sort of stick around, it folded. So I came back to Siddle at 16 and just started playing with my mates. I managed to get a trial for Leeds. I went on a 3-month trial and I think I signed a professional contract after 4 weeks. I enjoyed it that much that I knew I had to sort of find the money to get there, because obviously Leeds is like nearly an hour away from where I'm living. So I was working in a nightclub as well. I was just glass collecting, so sometimes I'd finish at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, go home, get changed and then set straight off to go Saturday morning training at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And I think Leeds noticed that I was sort of putting the effort in and doing my best to sort of get there, so they offered me a first team deal. Obviously I didn't make my debut in the first year.
He wasn't getting played or anything and he was getting really down about it, and then he was thinking that it wasn't worth anything. So Tyler's mental health started to deteriorate and I could see that, and he was getting depressed, and I must have said a few times, I just want you to leave, just want you to come away from there. So
basically when I was told that I would never make my debut for Leeds, I was pretty much told I wasn't good enough to sort of play for him. Bit of a tough pill to swallow. It's something that I'd worked hard towards. I'd worked hard during my time off. Like, there was a bit of a kick in the teeth, so I just fell out of love with rugby completely. Hated it, didn't want to know what to do with it, didn't watch it, didn't support anyone, I just wasn't bothered. Obviously lockdown came, and as soon as lockdown finished, I went to the Army Careers Office.
I didn't want him to go in the army, but you know, it's something he felt that he wanted to do because he needed to have something to keep doing.
But then Oldham came in for me. I got a message on Twitter asking if I'd be keen for a coffee. So I had a discussion with my mum. I just said, I don't know. I said, I don't know if it's what I want to do. I don't know if it's what I want. I don't know if it's a risk I want to take. I feel like I've got this opportunity to go to the army now. I can make a good career out of it. I can go see the world. And then I said, just give it another shot. See how you go. I said, and you know, don't treat it as the fact that this is your profession though. I said, just, you know, go in and enjoy yourself. Enjoy it like you used to enjoy it at Siddle with your friends.
It's Tyler Dupree! Listen to the cheers from the Oldham people!
I think throughout my life that's one of the best decisions I've ever made. I think Oldham was, fair enough we didn't win a game, or we might have won one game, but I've never loved losing as much. As weird as it sounds, I've never loved playing as much. Everyone was just there for the same reason, to enjoy rugby. And that's what it was, it was just getting back to enjoying it for me. So I've got a lot to thank Oldham for helping me find myself again and find my love for rugby. So Oldham had got relegated. I had a meeting with Widnes and I signed for Widnes for 2 years. During my time at Widnes, I was working in a children's home as well, because I was on a building site, but that sort of like manual graph wasn't really for me at the time. So it was a job where you had to stay over. You stayed over, so you was there for like 24 hours. So you was doing stuff from taking them to school, taking them to meetings, taking them on family visits, taking them out for tea. Sometimes you go to bed at 9 o'clock and sometimes you not go to bed at all because kids have gone missing. It's just, that was just part and parcel with it, but You never disliked them because they went missing. You just cared about them and you were hoping they were safe. And like, I'd be the one to go out driving all night to just go and find them, knocking on people's doors, and like, you could be knocking on like drug dealers' doors and stuff like that. You just never know. So, but you don't think about that. You just think about getting the kid and making sure they're safe.
And he's been the ideal person for that, because Andy's sister as well, they've witnessed a lot and they know a lot, and I've never hid anything from Tyler about what happened, because in my own thoughts I was thinking, does he remember all these things? So I needed to make it quite clear to him that that is not how life works, that it's better than that.
Plays it short, and it could be a try. It certainly is. Tyler Dupree with the finish.
When Salford came and said that they were going to take me for the end of the year, I was buzzing. I was ecstatic, actually. I was doing my own stuff away from training as well, and because I was determined. I was determined to not let people down, and that's one thing I never want to do, is let anyone down. So every time we had a day off, I'd go back to the children's home. Or it didn't even have to be a day off. Sometimes at Salford we'd finish at like 11 or 12. As soon as we'd finished, I'd set straight off to the children's home and go and work there, and then I'd do a full 24-hour shift. Well, sort of 24-ish hours. But they were quite lenient, so if I said I had training the next day, they'd say, come work, and then we'll just get somebody in early so you can go back training. So sometimes I wouldn't even be going home after training. I'd be going straight to the children's home and then going back to training the next day. So, but it's something I wouldn't change. And if I could have still done it now, I would have.
Well, Tyler Dupree, he's been in great form, the 23-year-old. Spent most of his career in and around the Championship, and he's been Salford's best forward.
I think Salford were having some issues with money. And it's sad to say any club sort of having issues with money, but it's rugby at the end of the day and stuff happens. But I think they opened me up and put me out there. And a team came in and my agent were talking about it, said, would you go there? And I said, well, I am enjoying my time at Salford, but obviously they explained the situation, and I thought, yeah, you know, it works better for everyone. But then Salford sort of pulled the plug last minute, said, now we're in a good position now, we can sort of keep hold of you. And then Wigan came in and they just said, look, we're sorry that we're messing you around, but we've made the decision to sell you to Wigan. And I'm sort of grateful they did, because I feel like that skyrocketed my career even more.
He's away! Big money paid for the front rower, and he pays Wigan back. The Wigan Warriors will lift the league leader shield. The name Wigan Warriors is on the Super League trophy. The Wigan Warriors are World Club Challenge champions.
It's all stuff I never would have imagined doing, and it sort of makes me proud that I've managed to achieve all that in so little of a rugby career, I suppose. Everything I've sort of achieved has just been immense.
Tyler is very fun to coach. Obviously he's got a lot of ability, a lot of talent, but more than that, he's good fun, got an infectious personality, and quite often when you ask the group a question or ask Tyler a question, you don't always get the answer you expect from Tyler. Very honest.
I would agree with that, yeah, that's a good point. Probably got his own point of view, what you wouldn't necessarily think he's going to come out his mouth, but sometimes it does do and it shocks you a little bit.
Do what? No, it's all love. Bring it in, lads, bring it in.
What I find about Tyler is he can seem a very confident person, but I think sometimes he needs reassurance, and he gets quite nervous coming up to big games, semi-finals, finals.
I think because I've never expected to get to where I am, and I've never had ambition to get to where I am, because I was the person I was when I was younger, and then I sort of flicked a switch and realised what I wanted. I've just sort of put my mind to it, and it's made me realise that I can sort of do it, and I do believe in myself a lot more now. And don't get me wrong, like before every game I'm really nervous and I feel sick and stuff like that, just because I want to do well and not let people down. But I always think back of where I've come from, and it just fills me with a bit of pride, and I always keep going back to it, but I wouldn't change the sort of journey I've been on at all.
Number 15, Tyler Dupree. Well done, Tyler. Well done, Pop. Well done.
Yeah, when I got the call, I rang my mum straight away. Like, I was buzzing, everyone was sort of buzzing for me.
I couldn't stop smiling. I'm smiling now, aren't I? I just said, it was a fantastic moment.
It was immense, and it's something that I sort of cherish, and it's still sort of a pinch me moment now that I've actually done it. It's hard to keep smiling, isn't it?
No, I'm good at it. Every time I see a camera, I'm smiling.
Mama Jackie, she's the best. She's like a mama for me over here as well, and she always looks after me.
Yeah, he's my other son, yeah. I got a message off him on Mother's Day, off Tiake. I didn't get one off Tyler. I got some chocolates through post off Tyler and a card.
I've always said to her that everything I do sort of for her and for us as a family. And we're a family that sort of come from nothing, and I want to sort of change that now. I don't want to. I just want everything to be good for my mum now. She's done a lot for me. She sacrificed a lot, cold days at Siddle and taking me here, there and everywhere just to get training and stuff like that and get to games, away games. So everything I do is for my mum, and I just want to carry on making her proud.